Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the Mr. Neil channel. Now today we're going to be looking at a tutorial of, well, this is part one of many episodes I expect to come of our root building series. Yes, so we're going to be doing a series on how to do some root building in Train Simulator Classic. So obviously when you load up Train Simulator Classic 2024, well actually it's Train Sim Classic, just normal Train Sim Classic now, isn't it? You will find this screen. Now, I'm going to be very quick with this tutorial. I'm going to be very snappy with it, so obviously you don't have to skip ahead. So what you want to do first is you want to press the build logo here. It should be the third icon from the bottom row. Now, my ways of root building are a bit different to others, so beware. So obviously you have your selection of routes here. Obviously I have some of my custom routes. We're going to go to the bottom here where it says new routes, clone, edit, rename, delete, and main menu. We're going to press new routes. Now obviously you can throw in a name for this. I'm going to do bracket because then it comes at the top of my screen. Routes building tutorial. There we go. And obviously we have a select ground texture set. You can choose whichever one you want. It just really makes the grass look different. I'm going to pick the North Somerset Railway though, which is this one. Obviously you don't have to pick that. I don't mind which one you pick. No one else minds which one you pick. So then you're now going to press create, and then whatever you've named it is an alphabetical order with symbols going first and then letters. So obviously we had the bracket, so mine's going to be bracket root building tutorial. And then if you ever want to do some modifications through like actual files, this hex code is, well, not hex code, this code is basically where you can find it. So now we're going to press at the bottom right hand of our screen, edit. And now we should go into a loading screen. And that was very quick because I've got quite a good computer. So here we are. Welcome. This is very scary. If you are wondering how to move, it is the arrow key. So the arrow keys: forward arrow, move; backwards arrow, backwards obviously; left arrow, left; right arrow, right. And then the right control, well, the right mouse key is to move your camera around. Now, for today's video, we're probably going to start with like making a basic station and track. So at the top left, we have this little box over here. We're going to, so on the toolbox here, we will see a house, a rail, a paintbrush, and a train. We're going to press the rail. And then if we look at the box next to it, or behind it, under actually, if we click the rail, not this rail, we don't want to do the track rule, we want to do the track all. So I'll press track all. So for my one, you're going to have all these different tracks. You're going to have most likely invisible track and then no sleepers and sleepers. For mine, I have the preset of the Midlands Railway track. So I'm going to do the track Bullhead Rail Dark. And then, so I've selected it. Now, if I bring my mouse over, we should see a yellow arrow. Now, where the yellow arrow faces will be the way your track goes. So I'm going to start at my base point by clicking. And then if I drag, and if I bring my mouse as well, if I move the mouse, you will see this like yellow triangle thing. Jesus, this yellow rectangle thing will show up. I'm going to have my track this long. So if I press my left key, the track now places. So this is our track. My one is 3D. Your one probably isn't if you're starting off and you're brand new to root building. But obviously, we now have some lovely track. If you want it to curve, you just need to move your mouse upwards or downwards. It's very easy. Personally, I'm going to have it a bit longer, and then I'm going to have it curve this way, and then curve that way. So then we can see my track is straight, curves left, and then curves right. Now, this is going to be our station. So if we go into the track again, and into the box under it, we should see this platform-looking thing at the very right. This will be your platforms. Now, some base routes don't actually have preset platforms, like my one doesn't, which is going to be an issue. If you do have this, then fear not. We're going to press the blue box with a yellow arrow on it. And then we should see this over here. Now, this is very, very long and very complicated. Now, I'm going to choose a Dovetail Games route. Here we go. I'm going to choose the Exeter to Kingswear route, which is this one. If I just press this white box here, perfect. And then all the objects for it should come up here. So obviously, Exeter to Kingswear platform 5 meters large. If I click that, it's just like the track. It literally works exactly like the track. So it's very easy. Now I'm going to make my platform very nice, very long, and very straight. We're going to make it that long. And then we can see it has in fact shown up. However, for the purposes of this video, I am actually going to use a different platform, but that's no worries, don't listen to me. So there we go, here we have our platform. Now I'm using the Bossman Games platform for the Welsh Marchers line, which basically has you put passengers already on it. So now you may be wondering, what if I'm wanting to make a heritage railway? What if I want a loop around? Well, if we go back onto our track, click the same track, okay, make sure you click the same track. Okay, that is very vital you click the same track that you have used. If you just line it up alongside your other track, I'm going to have it so my yellow box is around that far away. So we can see this is where the end of the ballast will be, that's where the end of the ballast will be. It's very nice. So if we just line it up along here, I'm going to make it, that's, I believe. Yeah, I think that long will work. And then if I start to bring it in, like, obviously, I move my mouse up and down, like I did say, if you were listening. But yeah, if I move it in a little bit, we can see it's kind of starting to look like a point now. If I press click, it's starting to look like what a switch track will look like. But obviously, if I try and just line it up like this, it won't actually make a switch track. Now, how you do make a switch track, you're going to have to listen to this to actually build your route if you don't want, like, an up and down route, is you want to basically make it look like so where it would connect, press control, and then a red box should show up. If you click there, it should make a switch track, in which mine unfortunately hasn't. That does happen sometimes. I'm not quite sure what the bug is. So I believe the bug for me is that my track isn't long enough. So if I make my track a little bit longer to the platform edge, and then I make it curve. Now, obviously, I have actually redone it. Let me go back into the world editor. I haven't shown you that yet. When you actually have gone into the world editor, you may see you don't actually see the rail joins, which isn't actually usual. I'm not quite sure why it doesn't do that. However, this is actually a switch track, and the way I know it's a switch track is by this. This is basically signaling it is a switch track, it does work. So, obviously, if you want to, I'm personally going to, because that's how a switch track works, I'm going to make it so it happens on the other side of a loop as well. So I'm going to make this bit longer, so I actually have room to put my switch track. Then I'm going to make it curve. There we go, and I'm going to join it up nicely. There we go. And now sometimes it will show the actual things, sometimes it won't. If it doesn't, then either your switch track hasn't worked, or you have got a switch track, and you know that by, as I said, this box over here. Now I'm going to make another platform, so I'm going to use the same one. If you actually hover over this, it will be the exact same angle. So if I accidentally knock my mouse, obviously I don't want a platform like that, so if I hover over that, it'll be the exact same angle and it will be perfect. So again, I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now actually, as we can see, it does go over. That is because I haven't actually locked it. So if I do that again, there we go. So bring it in, ends there. And perfect. Now we can see that is way too much of a gap, like way too little of a gap. So if I press it, we have these little arrows over here. If I hold down the red arrow, or drag the red arrow, I can actually move my platform. I'm not going to do the same with that one. And there we go. So that is our first little loop slash station. Now, what do we do now? I think it's good to show you the ground textures. So again, on the top left hand of your screen, we will see the paintbrush, which is the painting tools. If we click that, and then if we press the paintbrush on a white square looking thing on the same box, if we press that, and then we go to the box underneath it, we will see we now have a lot of, well, textures. Now, obviously, your ones will be very different to mine. I know, I am sorry. It's just like that on every single route. But for me, my ballast is in this one, which is the gravel. So, obviously, we have track ballast brown. If we just start clicking, there we go, we can see we have a whole bunch of ballast. However, we may see that your ballast is way too big. Now, to change that, what you need to do is you need to go into this bottom box over here, and for the 3 squares, you're going to change that to approximately 20. And then if you press enter, there we go, and if I start painting now, we can see my ballast is much smaller. And I'm just going to do that. So, obviously, I don't think I have told you this, but you need to drag your mouse along whilst clicking. So, click and drag, and that is basically how you paint. Now, I'm just going to do that for this little curve over here as well. Perfect. Now, if you do want your camera to be a bit faster, you can actually hold the shift key, which does make your camera go faster, if you have been wondering that. So the last thing we're going to do in this video is we're going to add some fences to our platform so our passengers don't fall off. Now, you don't need to add these, but I like to add them for the detail. So if you go into the rail over here, and if you go onto the brick wall looking thing, you will see a whole bunch of stuff over here. Now, my one I like to use is the fence picket white. If you hop onto this, and if you just snap it into place, here we go. But obviously, if I do this, I can't actually move it this way. I can only move it this way. So we want to move it like over there, so the arrow is pointing the way your platform is pointing. If I just click and then drag, it's like making a track and another platform. And then obviously, as we can see, I have a little bit of a gap over here, so I'm going to make it overhang a little bit. So obviously over here we go, overhang a little bit, press it. And then if I go over here, make sure you don't click your platform. The way I know that is because my one has a bit of overhang. So if I drag it with the green arrow, so obviously you can see my one still has a bit of overhang. If we have a look over to this bit over here, if it has the same bit of overhang, it's perfectly fine. No, so it has a little bit more. So let's just drag it over a little bit more, and that should be fine. So if you now drag the red arrow back to around there, we'll do it a bit further forwards. There we go. So we now have a fence on this platform. I'm going to quickly do it on the other platform. And there you have it. So that is our first bit of our route building tutorial. Remember to save your work. Now, you can press Control and, it's usually Control A that I save my work, but apparently it doesn't work. So if you press the yellow icon over here, train simulator save changes to your route. You want to continue? Yes. Press OK. And there you have it. You basically have entered real-time world and you can move around freely without the stuff, but that has also saved your work. Now, to come out of this, you just need to press escape, quit, exit, and there we go. We're back to the main menu. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. If you have, make sure to like and subscribe. I shall see you in episode 2. If you need any help with route building that you haven't understood about this video, pop them in the comments down below and I shall help you. So, I'll see you in the next one, friends, and bye for now. This is an